Hey there, welcome back. Today I want to share about the disaster management cyclone. As you know, there is a cyclone just coming to Odisha, that is Dana. Though Odisha is champion in managing disaster, as because last 20 years I have been seeing that each year or each alternative year there is a cyclone or must or any type of disaster, especially in coastal belt of Odisha. People are also habituated, and the government of Odisha, especially disaster management, they are the pioneer, as because in 1999 there was a super cyclone. When I was reading in veterinary science and animal husbandry at Bhubaneswar, and I faced that super cyclone. In that cyclone, everything was devastated. All plants, building, human, livestock, everything. At that time, we don't have any so much technology to apprehend, and also we don't have any preparedness to mitigate all those things. But now we have machinery, we have experience, so especially we are mitigating whatever the cyclone comes to Odisha or India. But in this video, I want to just aware what is cyclone, what is the type of cyclone, and how we will mitigate or how we are mitigating the cyclone or disaster. So let's discuss the cyclone. Cyclone is a storm that is caused by wind blowing around the low pressure areas. That is called cyclone. Similarly, storms around high pressure area and called anticyclones. There are two types of cyclone. One is tropical cyclone, the storms that is originate over a warm tropical ocean termed tropical cyclone. Low atmospheric pressure, high winds and heavy rainfalls are the characteristics of those types of cyclone. Parts of Atlantic region, Pacific region, Indian Ocean witness tropical cyclone. Whatever we are seeing or facing, that is basically a tropical cyclone. And second one is temperate cyclone. These are the storms that occurs outside the tropics. These are referred as extratropical cyclones. Other names are frontal cyclone or wave cyclone. They occur in polar region, temperate and high latitude. So basically, what is what cyclone in India? We have many history. That is Bhola cyclone in 1970 in Stock, Bangladesh, or the East Pakistan or West Bengal in 1970. That was Bhola cyclone, devastating, the deadliest cyclone, causing around 3 to 5 lakhs death. That was shocking. Then what I example, Odisha cyclone 1999. It is otherwise called Super Cyclone. It was a very severe cyclonic storm that struck Thailand, Bangladesh, Myanmar and India. And according to the Indian Meteorological Department data, around 9,887 people lost their lives in that cyclone. And then Cyclone Fani in 2019 It was taken up in the depth discussion in Rajya Sabha also, Rajya Sabha TV. Then Cyclone Amphan in 2020. Then Cyclone Nisarga in 2020. Then Cyclone Nivar in 2020. Then Cyclone Burevi in 2020. And now Cyclone Dana in 2024. So, how we will mitigate all this cyclone disaster, or what is the step of cyclone disaster management? Let us discuss. So, first, hazard mapping. Basically, hazard mapping means one can predict the vulnerable area affected by the storm. It maps the pattern of old cyclone using their wind speed, areas affected, and flooding frequency, etc. That is called hazard mapping. We must map the what sorts of hazard or what sorts of things to become, or what is the flooding frequency or wind speed. It must be ensured through hazard mapping. Second, land use planning. With the effective implementation of land use planning, the key activities and settlements can be avoided in the most vulnerable area. For example, settlement in the floodplain is at utmost risk. Hence, authorities should plan ahead to avoid such risk, especially those who are nearby the sea or fishermen. We are endeavoring to evacuate that place, so they must not face all the challenges. Step number 3, engineered structure. Engineered structure is nothing but the structure without the wind forces and proved to mitigate the losses. The public infrastructure of the country should be designed keeping in mind the hazard mapping of the cyclone. Basically, in coastal belt, what I have seen that when the area where cyclone comes each year, in that area, they are just how the engineering structure are there, that in the longitude or in base area there is no home. It is on the up area or 8 to 10 foot above area, because they know cyclone or any disaster will comes regular. Accordingly, they have prepared their design. Mitigation number 4, retrofitting non-engineered structure. That is called construction of step slope or roof, what I just revealed, to avoid the risk of being blown away. Anchoring steps post with solid foots on the ground. Repair the shelter before time. All these points. Then cyclone sheltering. Cyclone sheltering is a national stage and regional level construction of cyclone shelter should taken up the help of vulnerable community from the cyclone. The shelter should be built considering the population density, transportation, communication, and distance from the affected area of the past and the area's topography. Basically, those who have evacuated the place nearby chances of cyclone, for them, that is temporarily prepare the shelter, that is called cyclone sheltering. And point number 6, flood management. Flood management is cyclonic storm leads to heavy rainfall that further lead to flooding in various areas. Importance should be given to the flood management. The drainage system should be well designed to mitigate flooding. The participate both from the government and the local community is required. So it is very much essential that whatever the water will come, it must be gone through the flood. So, sorry, it must be gone through the drain. So, we must design the drain such type that it will be evacuate the water level. Then, vegetation cover improvement. Vegetation cover improvements under that to increase the water infiltration capacity, improving vegetation cover of high importance. Vegetation cover is high importance. Planting trees in rows, coastal shelter belt plantation, mangroves shelter plantation, etc. can help the break of the wind force and mitigate the severe losses. As you know, or what I have seen in Super Cyclone in 1999, though all the plants has devastated. When I joined veterinary science, I saw the Odisha full of greenery, full of plantation. Wherever you go, wherever the road goes, it is full of beautification. But after that cyclone, everything lost. So, but to tackle that wind speed, or to mitigate that, to minimize the wind speed, we must have a plantation on that areas, especially mangrove shelter belt plantation, coastal shelter belt plantation, whatever the plants, in spite of many speed, whatever the speed, but it will not just as it is a mangrove plant. So it will withstand that wind speed, and also after that decrease the wind speed. So all these points needs to be taken care. What mangroves plantation, that is India has a 3% of world's mangroves cover, only 3%. So root system of mangroves helps in mitigating tsunami and soil erosion. So we must increase our mangroves plantation. Then saline embankment. Along the coast, saline embankment helps protection of habitation, agricultural crop and other important installation. As we know, in every cyclone, agricultural land, agricultural practices lost as it is blown away. So only mitigation point, that is saline embankment. If we have a saline embankment, we must protect our agricultural crops. Then leaves, they act as a obstruction to wind forces to also provide shelter during flood. Leaves is important. Leaves act as a obstruction of winds force and also provide the shelter during flood. Then artificial hill. If you are making the artificial hill, these act as a refuge during flooding and should be taken off in the right area. Then awareness of the public, most and vital point, and that is awareness of the public. We must aware the public before that flood or cyclone, that how to mitigate this thing so that no any casualty or eventuality will happen. As I said, Odisha is the master of mitigating this disaster management or facing the disaster management. But we must ensure how we are creating awareness. So participation of the community increase with the number of public awareness initiative. The government at all levels should initiate the program bringing awareness about the natural calamities and making provision for higher local participation in the mitigation process. No doubt, Odisha has disaster management preparedness is very well. Though in western part or western southern part don't have any disaster, we have not faced any disaster, but still we are on preparedness zone. So what about the area where they are facing everybody? So government of Odisha is taking very well of preparedness of disaster and also all over the India. So these are the few points where I have apprised before you that how we'll mitigate the disaster management, especially cyclone. Then India's Cyclone Disaster Management Initiative, National Cyclone Risk Mitigation Project. There are many projects such National Cyclone Mitigation Projects is there. Integrated Coastal Zonal Management Project is there. Coastal Regulation Zones are there. And IMD color coding cyclones are there. So these are very many things are there to mitigate the things, and we are on practice so that today's whatever the cyclone or whatever the disaster will come, we are mitigating and the casualty and eventuality has decreased. However, we must ensure and we must aware among us, among the public, and that is a mass awareness among the public to mitigate such type of disaster management. So friends, though it is a long video, but it is an informative one, that's why I have presented. I think it will be helpful for you. Request all to share and subscribe my channel anytime. Thank you.